streaming.
I'm all cold though.
Yeah. I can turn that off, I think, for now. I'll turn it up.
I don't have any hair right now. I'm a little short.
It's on dehumidify mode, so it stays on a little longer.
I'm a little short on hair right now, so I'm cold.
I can lend you some. I got extra. All right, let's see. All right, I think the stream is working. Camera stuff looks good. I'm starting to record a bunch of videos for work because I have a studio at home that's easy to use.
I'm not using any home shit for work unless they pay me.
I'll just leave early and do it at home. Like, I'm working the same amount of time. It's just way easier to do stuff with my rig here than to
I'm
use
now
like.
allowed to work from home freely. I worked from home yesterday. Just basically what I'm gonna do. It seems like other people are working from home a lot, right?
Yep, but the engineers are like that. I can't get away with it because I need to go talk to people in person.
As much as I wouldn't mind doing that, right? It's like, I've actually basically they had the same problem where they didn't give me enough work to do.
Yeah.
But I've managed to give myself more work to do, so I'm actually doing the work, right?
Ah.
And then I'm like, they're giving me a ticket, like my two things were like, just do discovery on this and this, and I was like, how about I just fucking migrate all the data right now? And that's what I'm doing.
I've done that a couple times. I get a spike open, like, hey, we're gonna investigate.
They're like, check the validation for all these fields. I'm like, I'm just gonna import all the data right now.
Yeah.
I don't need to wait for that shit. I'll just do it and see what happens. I'll figure it out while I'm doing it. But so I'm doing work, right? It's like other people are working from home like every fucking day. I'm just working from home like once every other week to do laundry, and now on the weekend I never had to do laundry or clean or anything. My apartment is 100% clean right now because I didn't go to work yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, I still worked a little bit.
A lot of my engineers work from home a lot. Like every day in the chat. Like,
Do you think that they're working?
Yeah, they actually are. They're getting stuff done.
Are they working 8 hours worth a day, the same as if they had come to the office?
Yeah, because they're like...
Are they stopping to play a video game at 1 o'clock?
They seem to be just working.
Uh-huh.
Oh, we're streaming. Just remember, if you come in and talk, no one can hear you.
We need a room mic.
You have my room mic. The boundary mic is in your apartment. I'll take it back if you're not using it.
Yeah, you can have that back.
Because then I can mount it on the wall there, and then when we get the Emily interlude, she can be in the stream. All right. Well, we got someone watching, too.
Go away.
It's Thursday, June 21st, 2018. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geek Nights. Tonight, how we've changed in 20 years. Woo, woo. You were quiet. Seems to only happen with this microphone. Okay. I even tested with other microphones, and only our microphone has this. Whoop. All right, whatever.
Must have some warranty at Shure, right? Send it back.
We bought that a long time ago.
Those things have like lifetime warranties, though, right? Because there's like the badass.
I gotta check.
This is the badass microphone, right?
It's a moderately badass microphone. It's the newer one too. I should check, but
They're supposed to last forever, right? They're supposed to be invincible.
Yeah, but I don't know what the actual warranty is. All right. Anyway, I'm just gonna play this back, and then
Steam sale.
We'll be good
Everything
to go.
but PUBG wasn't on sale enough.
That's good enough. Okay. Doot, doot, doot. Oh yeah, there's still only one person watching. You don't have to worry too much.
Sad person.
For now.
Go away, person.
They haven't said anything yet, but they're still watching.
If they're wise, they will go do something else with their time.
Play PUBG.
And that would be better. That was one example of a thing you could do.
All right.
They could go and set some shit on fire, and that would be a better use of their time.
So this is Thursday, obviously, and not Tuesday, but it's worth mentioning that both Scott and I, because it's on sale, bought PUBG.
Well, I mean, it was originally I was like, oh man, that game looks like the kind of thing I want to play, but I don't got time. And then I was like, especially when the guy who made it gave a talk at PAX East.
That talk actually really made me want to play it more.
Well, I mean, I already knew that I wanted it. It was my kind of game, but I was like, that basically was like, well, it is my kind of game, confirmed, like I thought.
The thing is, Overwatch is also your kind of game, and you won't play that.
But I missed the boat. I was like, oh, I'm too late for the PUBG boat. I can't get into it now. But suddenly the game is on sale. And it's like, well, you know what? For $20, even if I play it and then only for a short time, like maybe a month or so, and then stop playing it, It's worth $20. Steam sale started today, whatever. So I played it last night for the first time. I played like between 10 and 20 matches, and I killed one person.
I have so far killed 0 people, but I almost killed one dude.
This game is hard, yo.
The dude I almost killed
but
didn't
somehow
kill me.
Still fun despite being hard and having some annoyances.
Well, it
but
feels
also,
a lot like those early days when I picked up Counter-Strike,
right.
and I was like, wait, what's up with this game?
Well,
This game
also,
is weird.
I feel like people have told me that since I waited so long to play it, it used to be worse. So I actually feel like maybe if I had started earlier, I would have been pissed off at it for sucking a hole, for having a lot of issues. And it has been polished much in the time I was not playing it. And now I am less angry at it as a result, which I guess could be a good thing.
So I guess for me,
the game is far from dead, despite no longer being number one.
Well, it's above this line that happens in games where it is popular enough to where it might end up like Counter-Strike, where it'll just always be kind of going in the background forever.
And it's going to last longer than a Tribes of 2.
Yeah. The thing is, Tribes 2 is still probably the most fun I've had per unit time I played.
Yeah. You know what's
of
really,
any online multiplayer
What's
game.
really weird is obviously I suck ass at this game.
Yeah.
But I played. There was a Quake Champions. It was free on Steam. You can get it for free. It's like a free to play Quake, and I played that because it was free. And it's the most loot box. It's basically Quake plus loot boxes.
I'm sick of this loot box nonsense.
And also classes. But the loot boxes are purely cosmetic. There's not a single loot box thing I could find in the game that was in any way material to gameplay. So it's not pay to win. It's a legit Quake. It was way faster than Quake 3 or Quake Arena or any Quake that I've played recently.
More like a Quake 1?
It was a full speed Quake. I was like, wow, I do not want this to be any faster because that will be beyond my abilities to control. And you know what? Obviously, it was a death match. It was like a team death match where it's like just get as many kills as you can of people that are not the same color as you. And despite the fact that I was not like the best or anything, my team won every time I played, and I got a respectable number of frags every time. So I still have some amount of FPS skill, yet PUBG is way slower. It's like molasses compared to that Quake Champions. And I killed one person because we happened to spawn in the same place. We were having a fist fight. Then they went to pick up a gun, and I punched them to death while they were picking up the gun.
The big difference is that PUBG is not about FPS skills so much as about situational awareness skills.
I have no situational awareness. Pretty much almost every time I got shot, it was like, oh my god, where are these bullets coming from? Oh my god, I'm dead.
It's always sniper across the map, like picks me off while I'm sneaking across the bridge.
There was a sniper, I spin around, I don't see anyone. I hide, I get my scope out, I don't see anyone. I'm looking all over the place.
My favorite moments are where they're
still shooting at me, the bullets are landing real close.
I'll be like in the woods, and then I hear like a little bit of gunfire, and I'm not sure if the gunfire was directed at me or not. No. So I freeze and hide behind a tree.
I'm gonna have to switch to using headphones to figure out where.
Oh yeah, 100% headphones when I play. But yeah, I mention it because the good news is we're gonna play PUBG and like if you want to play with us, I think we'll be able to get some groups together because there's a bunch of forumites already playing PUBG who are way better than us, but also still really bad.
They're bad, but they're better than us, which shows how bad it shows how bad we are.
But
we're awful. They're bad. We're the worst.
This is definitely the kind of game where if this had come out
they're poop, we're diarrhea.
Much like Counter-Strike and Tribes 2, if this had come out while we were at RIT, this would have been our lives.
Oh, probably, yeah.
I would have played this every goddamn day.
Not probably.
Because it's got that Arme or like Weapons Factory thing.
Arme? It's Arma.
Arme is a funnier thing to say.
Arma.
You have like 50 things to bind to your keyboard, and I
just left all defaults and learned them.
I changed. I
don't like all the defaults. I like some of them, but I just decided that's what I do in life. Is I just learn defaults now.
But the good news is
my new policy.
I
assume you inverted your y-axis.
Of course I did.
I did not.
But I didn't change all the bindings willy-nilly. What I did is I played the game, and as soon as there was a thing I wanted to do, and the default wasn't good, only at the moment where I had a reason to do the thing in the course of the game did I rebind it, but I followed my ancient philosophy. And a lot of the things you can do in this game are analogous to things I used to bind to standard positions in old games that I used to play. So like, grenade.
I don't know.
type
I
stuff?
haven't actually played a lot of FPSs where you can go prone, and this is. I think the only one I ever played that where you can go prone was Soldier of Fortune. I don't even remember if that's 100% correct.
Yeah.
So that was new to me.
Yeah, going prone, I ended up binding to crouching, and I use it instead of crouching, and crouching I bound somewhere else.
Yeah, well, crouching. I like how you can run while crouching and also walk while crouching.
Yep.
Or you can like whatever.
I spent like 5 minutes just prone crawling through the grass.
The only thing I was gonna complain about, like I couldn't figure out how to use the scope. Like the right mouse button brings the gun up to aim, but it doesn't. If you had a big scope on the thing, a scope I found was an item on the ground. I attached it to the gun, and I couldn't figure out how to get the scope. And then I Googled, and it said double click the right mouse button, and that wasn't because it wasn't a binding like activate scope in the settings. And then I was annoyed that the game didn't teach me that. And it wasn't.
But it's also
it
really
wasn't
nice.
a setting. But actually, that's a good default. I liked it. So
Also, you notice you can bind. Well, anyway, we'll talk about this in a Tuesday show. But we're playing PUBG, and it's eating into my Overwatch time, which is a problem.
I'm playing PUBG and Hearthstone, and Netrunner died, and I finished. I went back and beat Skyrim, and Mario Tennis comes out like today or tomorrow.
I actually started playing Fallout 4
Okay.
because I never actually played it.
Not playing that.
You know why I'm
Until
playing it?
It's on Steam sale for $30, which is too much.
Because I
still.
got it in VR, and it's just, if you have VR and you have that game, it's real fun to play in VR, but it wouldn't be worth getting VR just to have that experience, is the way I'd put it. So
I am interested in the 76 one, though.
Yeah, I'm actually really into the online aspect of it, because as a 36-year-old, I don't have time for single-player games that are long.
Nope. The way I played Skyrim just now in easy mode, and I blitzed through it and ignored all the garbage.
I have this feel like I want to play Final Fantasy IV again.
No, you can't cheat and blitz through
Yeah,
it.
I think I'm just gonna cheat.
I'm actually considering playing Final Fantasy VI and Chrono Trigger and cheating to just turn off all random encounters and make my characters like level 9999999 and just win every combat without doing anything.
But then you know what I did instead?
So all I do is walk around and talk to everyone in town and then explore the dungeons.
For Final Fantasy I, because I was feeling a weird craving to play that again, like a really weird craving.
I could cheat at that too.
No, don't even need to cheat. I just watched an AGDQ speedrun that's glitchless.
Yeah, but
Final
I can't.
Fantasy.
They don't talk to everyone in town. That's what I want to do. Is the talking to people in town.
We need to. You gotta watch. We gotta make.
SGDQ starts in like a week.
I know. My God. So.
Or does it start this Sunday? It starts soon.
Speaking of things that are long that I don't have time for, the World Cup's happening.
Yeah.
And because I work in a very, very international company, it's very interesting to see the stark line. Most of the people who care about the World Cup were not born in the United States, and most of the people who do not care about the World Cup were born in the United States. That is what I have noticed.
Well, I mean, the thing is, the World Cup, like, as much as we rag on the sport of soccer, right? It's like the World Cup.
It's a cultural touchstone.
It happens fucking every 4 years. Right? All the teams are based on countries, so it's not like you got these teams of like, whoever players you manage to, the rich team gets all the good players. It's like, no, it's country-based, where the country you're from is the team you play on.
And you'd think the rich countries would have all the best players, but that doesn't end up being the case.
Right. It doesn't happen that often, and it's like the most, and it's like, it's the most cared about. It's like, it is... For serious, it's like in all the aspects. If they just weren't playing soccer, it would be more into it than like any other sporting events. People who don't disrespect soccer, obviously, it's the biggest fucking deal in the universe. Which one day there'll be an esports that is that big. And
but like every now and then I'll be at work because it's a giant, like I'm on this giant open floor.
It's on even in my newer small work. It's on. There's in the kitchen. They got a projector aimed at the wall.
Everyone who cares
and
has the games they care
all
about.
All the games are on
their second monitor.
Anytime you go to any restaurant in the city right now, if there's a game on, it's on.
Yep. Every now and then I hear a little commotion because something big happened in a game.
I walk around the office, I'd say 25% of the screens have a little stream in the corner.
Yep. But in terms of the World Cup, I don't know. There's a big bracket, and people are like really excited about this
still the group
bracket,
stage.
and I just don't.
Oh, they're betting?
Yeah, no, people are really invested in this like company-wide bracket.
Maybe this big payout. If you get it right, you get big money.
Well, apparently anyone who has a Bloomberg terminal, not just employees, this is like anyone who has the terminal, can be involved in this really, really elaborate bracket. That's like right there. Like type magic word, that's the official bracket. Like go for it.
Why don't you go and just figure out like, you know, just go to the odds makers who, you know, and they'll say these are the best odds. Just bet on the most likely outcome.
I don't know though. Meanwhile, at least for the Stanley Cup, Emily's bracket was scarily open the envelope, Lisa, accurate. So yeah, World Cup's happening, and yeah, I'm not really gonna watch it because, but it exists.
I mean, I watch it when I'm sitting in the room or a restaurant and it's on.
Yeah.
But I never intentionally. I've yet to purposely go to Google and like look for the stream and open it.
Yeah.
Right. It's just if it's on, I'm watching it, but I don't turn it on.
So in some sad news, if you didn't see this, Coco, the very famous, awesome gorilla who could speak sign language pretty well and was smarter than a lot of humans, like legit smarter than a lot of humans.
Especially very young humans.
Yeah. I mean, I'm reading this article.
Also stronger than every human ever.
They estimate her equivalent
Probably.
IQ was around 75 to 95. That's Forrest Gump level. But Coco was an amazing gorilla, and it's kind of sad that Coco is dead. And if you do not know about Coco, you should watch some of these videos and learn about Coco because...
I mean, I think people have like heard of Coco.
But like,
right?
if you don't like watch...
It's like they know, oh yeah, there's a gorilla that knows sign language. But
this
like,
is a gorilla who got bored one day and ripped the sink out of her enclosure. And when the handlers asked her what happened to the sink, she literally lied to them in sign language in English and said her pet cat did it. That is a level of deception that many humans are incapable of. Straight-facedly lying and blaming her cat.
What would be even better is if somehow we could tell that Coco was actually, you know, not lying, thinking it would work, but, you know, making a funny joke.
Coco made jokes from what I've read. Like Coco understood our concept of humor. So you should learn about Coco if you don't know, because if you haven't really watched videos of Coco interacting with humans, there's a difference between knowing Coco existed and grokking the ramifications of a gorilla who is that intelligent in a way that humans can comprehend.
Yeah. And, you know, this is one of the reasons why, despite eating meats, I don't eat monkey brain, and I won't eat octopus, and I won't eat dolphin.
I really try to avoid eating octopus, but occasionally I bump into it.
I mean, it helps that octopus is way chewy, and I don't like it anyway.
It's only chewy if it's not the best octopus.
I also usually avoid eating squid because even though squids are way dumber than octopuses, they're
also chewy.
They're also chewy and kind of eh.
Yeah.
I just really like the image, the anime manga image of like a yakuza chewing on a dried octopus. It's funny. It's funny.
So in some other news, it's actually pretty interesting because stuff's moving rapidly. So if you didn't notice, Canada legit fully legalized cannabis. Like fully.
So you can just go to Canada, get high. You're not breaking any law at all whatsoever.
Yep. And
you can just open up a weed store in Canada and just sell weed to any Canadian.
No, what's funny is in a bunch of parts, like in Toronto.
Is that what I said? I'm just confirming. That's true?
Yes, but it doesn't fully take effect until I think October.
So in October, if I was Canadian citizen, I could go to Canada.
Yep.
In my backyard, grow a bunch of weed.
Well, they're debating whether or not they're going to let people grow it themselves or how much they can grow, but probably.
Okay, I can start a business in Canada that's a weed farm.
Yep.
Legitimately, openly.
You can go to a wine store and be like, sommelier, I would like a Bordeaux from 1988. Or you can go to the weed store and the Cannabista and be like, I would like your finest lemon drop.
I can sell it to anyone.
Anyone over the age of 18.
Anyone. Just sell it.
Over the age of 18.
As much in any quantity.
Or it looks like some provinces have the right to set the age 21 instead, which I'm fine with.
And people who buy it just can walk up with with just age proof and just buy as much as they want.
There's a limit on how much you can buy, but it's a really high limit.
They can buy like a bushel.
Yeah. A bushel of cannabis is a lot.
I know.
Of cannabis.
That's a lot. And then they can just smoke it wherever the fuck, in the park, in their house.
If smoking, it'll be restricted pretty much the same way cigarettes are, which I'm fine with. You can't like use it and drive.
What if they consume it in a non-smoke emitting way? Can they do it just fucking anywhere?
Seems like you can.
Just like go to a hockey game. It's Canada, right? And just start eating.
Yeah, I mean, people do that anyway.
I know.
I mean, I was in Toronto
Fuck
recently.
you, person who's vaping at the garden. Fuck you.
Vaping no good. But
you're lucky I
whatever.
forgot there was a text message number where you can report things happening in the stands, and you're lucky I forgot that number at that moment because it only announced at the beginning of the game.
Yep. I mean, when I'm staffing conventions, I shut down the kids vaping. I don't care what they're vaping because it personally annoys me. But yeah, this is actually a big deal because unlike the U.S. where some states have done it and it's complicated, Canada is only the second nation on earth to fully legalize it in an industrial capacity.
I mean, there's countries where like there's basically lawlessness.
Yeah. Or countries where there's cultural practices.
Right. Isn't the other one just Denmark?
No.
No.
It's Uruguay.
Oh, okay. But what's? I mean, I thought Denmark isn't famous for like having like places you can go to smoke.
Yeah,
weed?
but apparently the law is actually pretty complicated there.
Oh, it's not just full openness.
It's much more complex than even I realized, and I don't know a lot about it.
That's always like that's the famous place that used to be the famous place for weed smoking, but I guess not now.
Yeah.
Now everyone's gonna go to Canada.
And Portugal has their thing.
Denmark's tourism is gonna get hurt by Canadian tourism.
It's Portugal has their thing where they basically decriminalized all drugs, but they didn't legalize it. Like go to a store and just buy as much.
There's
weed
a difference
as you want.
between decriminalization and legalization.
Yep. So this is probably really good news for Canada's economy. And it's probably good news for me because I own a bunch of Canadian weed stock.
Well, the problem is that people who smoke weed tend to lean to the left, and now they're all going to move to Canada for reals. Not like before where they just talked about moving to Canada. Now they're actually going to move to Canada.
Well, there's some other news that will maybe buttress that. So New York State actually suddenly started moving very quickly to legalize it, and part of that was
that's just fake Cuomo. Please reelect me, and then
yes,
in November,
I was about to get into that.
We're not actually going to do anything.
No, they're going to do it this time.
No, they're not.
I think they are because
I don't believe it.
There's a couple of things going on.
No.
So this is my opinion, my read into this, but what happened was the New York State Health Department issued, after their multi-year study, their actual guidance on whether or not it should be legalized and what the consequences would be. And the health department was like, yeah, there's literally no reason not to legalize it. Not legalizing it harms people. It's not a gateway drug. It's way less bad for you than alcohol. Go for it.
It's definitely way less bad for you than alcohol.
Yep.
Except the thing is, alcohol only hurts other people if you drive, whereas smoking weed makes everything stink.
Yeah, I don't think people should smoke weed for one. But anyway, so the other part of this is that Cuomo, who's always been very cagey on cannabis legalization, mostly because
he acts like a progressive wins election year, which it is, and
because
then every other year he acts like a Republican.
Half the population of New York State lives upstate and apparently hates all that is good and right with the world, and the other half of the population lives.
Oh, there are cities upstate.
There are, but generally, the governor of New York State has to deal with both the shitty people upstate in the rural parts of the country and the people in New York City who arguably outnumber them. And he basically ignores New York City and talks a lot about upstate, even if he doesn't do anything for the upstate, because the upstate people get real mad and vote for Republicans if you don't constantly cater to their baby-ass needs. Meanwhile, the city, he'll remember we exist during primary season, because if he doesn't pretend he cares about the city.
Here's the thing. He needs the city votes for him to be elected because we have most of the people and governor is a popular vote.
Yep, and if he loses the primary, which only New York City people really vote in.
He needs all the state so that he can control who is in the legislature so he can actually control what laws there are because you're just the governor, you don't write laws.
I really don't like Cuomo. I'm voting against him in the primary like I do every primary.
Yeah, pretty much.
And Cynthia Nixon, she checks off all the boxes of policy I want. But the reality is I'm going to vote for whatever Democrat wins the primary because that's how things are right now. But here's the other reason why I think he's going for it. It's not just primary season, and it's not just that, and it's not just Canada. It's because New Jersey is already moving faster to legalize it. And if New Jersey legalizes it first, New Jersey's going to get a shit ton of tax dollars that New York won't get.
New Jersey's already got their sports gambling operation up.
Yeah, New Jersey's moving real fast on this stuff. And New York realizes that's a lot of money they're leaving on the table. And that, I think, is the reason why this is suddenly moving.
People go to Canada too. We're touching both Canada and New Jersey.
Yeah.
We'll be stuck between. People will be driving their weed from Canada to New Jersey, or vice versa.
I feel like if New Jersey legalizes it first, path trains are going to get shockingly full.
I think one person will just bring it over from the path train. We don't need everyone getting on the path train.
I feel like that is also going to happen.
They'll just why don't you buy some real estate on the other end of the path train next to the parking lot and make a weed shop there?
I mean, we've seen that happen in the United States. There's precedent for this because if you don't live here, some states in America allow you to have fireworks and some states do not.
Exactly.
And if you drive around the United States and you get near the border between a state that has fireworks and a state that doesn't, you will notice a huge number of people selling fireworks 10 feet away from that border.
You'll see a sign that says now entering Tennessee.
Last exit where you can buy fucking explosives.
And there is a rest stop right there as soon as you enter Tennessee. You don't even have to exit the highway. There'll just be a little turnoff.
And there's people selling fireworks.
With a giant fireworks store right there, 10 feet across the line. And then when you turn around and you go back into the other state, wherever the fuck you came from, because Tennessee touches like 6 states, I think.
Tennessee is, in fact, the nearest state to us that has real fireworks.
It touches a lot of states. You drive back across the border to a state where the fireworks are not legal, and police are waiting on the other side of the sign, now entering wherever, waiting to arrest you for smuggling the fireworks.
Every single time my family went on a vacation, like anywhere where we even went near Tennessee, we would divert into Tennessee and fill the trunk with fireworks and bring it back into Michigan. All right, I think it was a good news bit. We killed a...
Why don't we open a weed store right on the other side of the path train?
Well, because it's not legal there yet.
Just I'm saying, just rent a store there and wait.
Yeah, get ready. The thing is, actually, the weed stores are zoned specially, so it's hard to...
Why can't... See, they got to make it you can get a vape store anywhere you want, but not a weed store?
Yeah, it's stupid. Like Seattle even, like most of the dispensaries, even though they're really nice and like really, like they're professional, they're all in weird places because of the weird zoning laws around it.
Why don't we buy an abandoned strip club? No one can complain if we put a weed store there.
Someone in the chat lives near such a border, can confirm.
Person who can confirm, bring me fireworks. And then you be the one who sets them off, because on the 4th of July, that's pretty much all the cops do is look for people.
Yeah, New York City fucking...
In New York City, all the cops do on 4th of July is go around busting people for fireworks.
Granted, in Michigan, there was that time when I was setting off some highly illegal fireworks with my brother and my dad, and suddenly 3 cop cars turned their spotlights on right next to us. They'd crept up to us in the field. They're like 10 feet away, and a cop is running over to arrest the shit out of us.
I have a better thing of the day now.
You gonna change it?
I mean,
you can change it.
If I can find it.
You got a little bit of time. So these cops just turn the lights on, and they're running at us to arrest us, I assume. And me and my little brother, because we're kids, both look at my dad like, what do we do? And my dad says, run. So we ran with him, and then he yells, no, scatter, don't stick together, they can't catch us all. And we scattered into the woods, and we all made it home like an hour later, having not been arrested, but the cops got the fireworks.
I believe this rim story only because he's told it repeatedly, but I don't know if that encourages him to just, as long as he remembers his lie and says it over and over again, does that make it true?
Both my brother and my dad would corroborate this story.
So he's got a team of liars. I know other people have teams of liars who tell the same story over and over again.
Well, I don't know anyone who has a team of liars.
Yeah.
Except the Republican Party.
Hey-o! You just lied right now saying you don't know anyone.
Who do I know?
You.
A team? I don't have a team.
Team DeCoster. Team Gatto.
The thing is with the fireworks story is that pretty much happened
tell the
exactly
same lie,
like
get
that.
15 silver points.
In the AGDQ stream of Chrono Trigger, when they went back, like there's a point where they have to grind Gato.
Mm-hmm.
At the same, like when they go back to revive Chrono.
They need more silver points.
Yeah, they need more silver points. The audience sang the song.
Doesn't that make the game go slower?
That's the fastest way to grind the silver points to bring Chrono back.
Okay.
And the entire audience sang the Gato song literally every time they fought him.
Okay.
Like loudly and in unison.
They didn't find a skip for the dialogue?
There's no skip for that.
Do, 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 do.
So while you look for your thing of the day, the other thing
I sent it to you already.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Why are people watching the show? Go away.
All right, let's see. Ooh.
Go get silver points.
This looks fun.
Playing Chrono Trigger better than watching GeekNights.
This looks real fun.
This is way fun. I just didn't mark it as like, which is why I didn't find it so easily earlier.
All right, let me. What was your other thing today? I'll just get rid of it.
The GitHub one,
Oh yeah.
which I can use later though
Yeah, you can save it.
on Tuesday.
Your GitHub. Okay. Oh. Yeah, I didn't notice your message because I put my email and all the like messaging stuff on the other monitor so I don't accidentally stream it. But anyway, things of the day. So I had a thing of the day I was going to use, but I found this story this morning. I laughed out loud so hard at work as I read this story that it fits the pure definition of thing of the day. It's the best thing I've seen today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even going to spoil what the deal is. It's a Twitter story, and it's one of those ones where it's basically screenshots of the text of the story.
Just people, copy and paste the text. Come on.
The text is too big for a tweet.
You put the text in a paste bin and post a link.
Anyway, it's in this case, and this is part of why I brought that up, the fact that it is 3 separate sections is very important to the humor and wonder of this story, because screenshot 1 begins the tale of a plumber at a hotel who is using a industrial drain snake to try to deal with a clog that they cannot deal with. Like, there's this preternaturally difficult clog.
Right? Was the clog made of a living creature of some
So,
kind?
phase 2 is they pull something out of the drain and don't know what the fuck to do about it.
Yeah, it's some kind of horrible.
And phase
creature.
3, the third image, is one of the funniest goddamn things I've ever read.
Was it like a live raccoon in the drain or something?
I
somehow
will-
didn't drown.
You've just got to read this story. I am not going to in any way spoil this for you. It is real good, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Some sort of sea creature.
It is.
That's why it didn't drown.
So let's just say that the second panel, it opened like when they pull something out of the drain. I'll spoil you for that.
Did they use the snake and a snake came out? Now they got 2 snakes, the
So-
plumbing one and a real one.
What they found in the drain, I will spoil that. Here, this is deep in the mystery. It's not a living thing.
A human limb.
A shower curtain.
Okay.
An entire shower curtain.
Was something wrapped in the shower curtain, like a human limb?
Just a shower curtain.
Okay.
And the mystery that is opened is that this is a hotel, right? A motel. The shower curtain is the shower curtain from the motel, like the exact ones they use.
But the shower still had a curtain in it.
The shower in the room that had the clog still had a shower curtain.
Yes.
That the resolution of the mystery is some good shit.
If you're, I imagine the housekeeping, if they come into a room and there's no curtain, they put up a new curtain. They just have curtains.
So yeah, I read this story. When I read the second one, I'm debating like, all right, I'm trying to think of plausible scenarios. Right, I guarantee you will never in a million years guess how the shower curtain came to be in the drain, because it is amazing.
Okay.
It's so specific and detailed that if this is an elaborate, like if someone just made this story up, they're an excellent writer. But I actually believe this is true. So anyway, that's my thing of the day. What do you got?
So these people are at the zoo, and they're next to the tiger zone where the tigers hang.
That's a good place to hang out.
And there's a glass wall, and then a moat, and then some land, and then some tigers. And they're standing with their back to the tigers, chatting. Some of them are facing towards the tigers, right? Just chatting with each other in a little group. And one of the tigers starts to quietly sneak up on their party member while their cameras are filming.
That is a quality. I think the word here is stalk.
Yes, and they're basically like, don't turn around, don't move. We want to see the tiger keep creeping up on you. If you notice the tiger, it'll stop creeping. We want to see it to keep creeping. Don't move, don't turn around, just stay still. And the friend stays still, and the tiger creeps. And obviously, I guess thankfully, is blocked by the glass wall. But
Tiger does what tigers do.
yeah, you see the tiger do what he do. This is the best part of the video is there's a part where the tiger gets close to the glass wall, and you can, because the tiger's in the moat, right? So you just see the top of its body moving slowly, but when it gets close to the glass wall, you can see its feet moving slowly, right? Yeah, that part.
Yep.
Right? And you can see how the tiger, how he creep, and that's a good part.
Tiger's got a plan.
Yep.
He is foiled by one thing. So in the meta moment, the Geek Nights Book Club book, which we were going to do very soon, is Emily Wilson's translation of The Odyssey by Homer.
If I had realized we needed a show today, I could have read it faster instead of watching anime.
Pretty sure the
I'm
next
playing PUBG.
Yeah, I was too. I owe you the graphic designer stuff too, but I was playing PUBG. But anyway, we're probably going to do it on the next Thursday show. So not next Thursday, but the following Thursday, our next Thursday Geek Night show will probably be the Geek Nights Book Club on this translation of The Odyssey. And it is...
You give me a deadline, great.
I mean, probably. I said probably. Well, remember, my day job now is I am one of the people who has to make the official decisions for very important things.
Just make the first decision. Go with the gut every time. It won't take long. Just
But I have learned very, very carefully the art of promising something, but the actual words I say, if parsed logically, do not actually promise shit.
That's your move.
Yeah, but now
That's always been your move.
I've gone from being merely a dilettante in that skill to being a professional. I am, by the definition of the word, a professional now at that move. I am no longer an amateur. I'm not a master of life. I'm a professional of the act of promising something without actually promising anything. So notice I used words like we will be, likely, projected. We're targeting the next Thursday show. So yeah. Scott didn't want to talk about anything on this Thursday show.
I do. I just don't have any show ideas whatsoever, nor time to think of one.
Nothing at all? Nothing you want to talk about?
Let's indulge him and let him do whatever he wants, and then I can go home.
I was thinking about this recently, about how we've changed over the years, because I was looking for...
Yes, people change. It's a thing that happens. Life is long. Your whole life isn't the same.
But some things change and some things don't.
What doesn't change?
How I look, apparently, because I was looking for these old pictures.
You haven't changed how you look.
Yeah, but old pictures of Scott look very different because your face looks younger. Your hair's different, obviously.
I changed how I look.
But I look the fucking same when I was 19 as I do now, except my hair's got this tiny little bit of gray. But I was thinking about, like, have we changed? Like, are there opinions that have changed? Are there, like, big parts of our lives that have changed? So I'm trying to try a strategy of pick various random areas of our lives, Geek Nights or non-Geek Nights, and try to look back 10 years and 20 years and see if anything's actually changed. Like, what were Rim and Scott doing in PC gaming compared to today in 2008 or 1998?
In 2008.
So let's talk about that first. PC gaming, video gaming.
The iPhone, it was a year old.
2008?
I was playing mostly Wii games.
I thought PC gaming was dead.
Well, yeah, we weren't playing too many PC
2008,
games.
that's around when I was trying to use that shitty Mac to make a podcast and I was using Linux on the desktop because there were no PC games I cared about.
Go look at Geek Nights episodes from 2008.
Yeah. I was looking at Geek Nights episodes from 2005 to try to figure some of that out. But 2008 Rim only played console games.
I'm pretty sure I was playing Wii and DS games.
And mobile games. And I didn't play, like, PC gaming was dead to me. If you look at 2018 Rim, 100% PC, or 99% to PC, 1% Switch. And if you go to 1998, it's all PC, no console. So every 10 years, I flip to the exact opposite spectrum of video games. So by projection, in 2028, I'm going to be playing only console games.
Mm-hmm.
Did you play different games in 2008? Like, what games did you play when you were just, like, sitting around?
I'm trying to remember.
You really don't remember?
I'm remember that you mean, blurs together with all the adjacent years.
Nah, I don't know. 2008 seems pretty, because 2008 was the era when we'd been doing Geek Nights for a while already, but we were still pretty close to our college years. Like, we were living up in Beacon. We hadn't really made plans to leave or, like, move to the city or anything.
Episodes 2008.
Like, 2008 was an era when we would do Geek Nights, watch movies, and play games and not do much else.
Let's see. Bionic Commando Rearmed was in 2008. Most of the episodes we did on the show were about old games, but there was, Wii games in here, a lot of board games in here. Professor Layton, DS games.
Yeah, I feel like that was the era of, like, the portable console.
Oh, we did that. Our Dwarf Fortress episode was in 2008.
Oh, yeah. We tried to play Dwarf Fortress for a little while back then.
I guess that's a PC game.
It's interesting, though, because back then
Bionic Commando Rearmed, I played that on PC.
Yeah. I guess that maybe that was the beginning of the resurgence of PC gaming. Because I remember 2009 is when I said, fuck it, dropped Linux on the desktop, dropped Mac, and went back to a Windows PC permanently.
Yeah, I think I was mostly playing DS games in 2008.
Yeah.
Even bad ones. Like, because we did an episode on Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Ring of Fates, which is that...
that game was awful.
The garbage DS one, right?
Yeah, that was that. We didn't even finish. We played like
I played it for like 10 minutes. But
yeah, I
think,
played 10 or 20
I paid
minutes.
like $30 or $40 for it because it was a brand new game.
I gave it away. I remember giving it away because it was so bad.
Yeah, that was definitely DS years around then, for sure.
Which makes sense because PC gaming was still pretty dead. Like
the DS was super new when Geek Nights started, remember?
Yeah.
And then, like, it was during Beacon Geek Nights when like you broke your DS Fat as an excuse to get a DS Lite.
In fact, I remember now, I was working at IBM on co-op, and I bought the original DS. You and I both bought it.
DS Fat the day it came out.
Yeah, because we thought it might be a Virtual Boy.
Well, I mean, it's not. We thought it might be Virtual Boy. It's worst case a Virtual Boy. Otherwise, it's great.
Oh, here's something that's different. So 2008 was probably the peak era of us going to a lot of conventions. Nowadays, we've actually cut almost all the non-PAXs out of our lives.
Well, I mean, it's just, you know, the anime con.
2008, did we go to, I think that was when we still went to Otakon.
I would have, yeah, well, last Otakon we went to was 09.
Yeah, so 2008 was when we still went to Katsucon and Otakon and like Anime Next and Kineticon.
Well, I think when we went to those cons back then, first of all, a lot of our people came with us.
Yep.
So even if the con did not provide a lot to do, we still had people there and ended up doing a lot of stuff and having a good time.
Yep.
But then what happened is our other people stopped going to the cons.
Because actually, remember 2000.
So we would go to but we were still going to like anime. We stopped going to Otakon for other reasons. Otherwise, we would have kept going.
Yep.
But we kept
by now we would have stopped though.
Sure, but we kept going to Anime Boston, and it's like, but what happened is because no one else was going really, or very few people were going. And we ended up like you walk around, you go there's Artist Alley, you go do your panels, and you go to maybe a couple panels, and the rest of the time it's like we're just hanging around in the area, eating and not
and
doing
being bored.
Much.
I think the big difference is that
it wasn't really worth it for us to travel and put all this effort to something where we were just most of the time we'd spend time literally like sitting around waiting for our panel to start. We got nothing to do.
So I think 2008 was actually a pretty like. By coincidence?
That doesn't happen at PAX.
Nope. But 2008, by coincidence,
also,
was
all our people still go to PAX.
Pretty pivotal year for our lives and for Geek Nights because that was the first year we went to a PAX. And I'm looking at all the stuff.
That is correct.
And you noticed something very specific because 2008, it was in September we went to that PAX.
We did 3 Geek Nights episodes about PAX in 2008.
Yep. But 2008, we did 2 episodes just about fucking Katsucon. Okay. Because that was before we went to PAX. We did Katsucon. I think that might have been the last Katsucon we went to.
I only went to not too many of them.
Went to like 3 or 4. I went to 3 before you started going.
We went to the one where I got sick.
Yep.
We went to one before that.
And then we think we did one more and that was it?
I don't remember any other ones.
Those are the 3 we staffed.
Maybe one more.
But before we staffed and did like all our big panels.
It wasn't more than 2. It was 2 or 3.
Because I went to 3 Katsucons before you started going where I didn't even do panels. I just showed up like, oh shit, AnimeCon, let's go. But 2008, we went to PAX, and that was the year the Fire Nation attacked. Like, everything changed. Like, we came back from PAX, giddy, and literally told everyone we knew, yeah, fuck every other con we go to, only PAXs now.
And MagFest.
And that was the year where, like, the next year we brought more of our people to PAXs, and then it wasn't until 2010 that there was a PAX
People didn't
East.
really go with us to PAX 09. It was still mostly just us.
Well, because while we have a lot of friends through all East Coast, we have the luxury of having the infinite money to go to whatever
PAX
conventions
East
we want.
did not appear until 2010, I believe.
And 2010, our entire con crew that used to go to like Katsucon and Otakon with us, they all went to that PAX East. And then after they went to that PAX East, they basically all dropped all the other conventions like that year. Like, pretty much everyone we know stopped going to anime cons after they went to one PAX. But then, fast forward 2 years later, they all stopped going to PAX because PAX East is really hard to go to.
They went to PAX East in 2011. 2012, people stopped going to PAX
because
East.
2012 was the year you couldn't get hotels anymore.
And then people go to MagFest, though.
For now, I think...
Some of them do, at least. You know, people on and off go to MagFest, but I think everyone still wants to go to MagFest.
Because our, like, Geek Nights set, like, we have a set of people that go to the PAXs with us, but the broader front row crew, really only goes to MagFest now and no other cons. Like, it's the only con we get our whole crew together. And that's a big change in our lives because 2008, everyone we knew in our crew went to a lot of cons, and like going to cons was a big part of our lives. Now, most of our friends have dropped all conventions from their lives except MagFest. And when we go to cons,
they're not doing panels or staffing like we are. So as an attendee, and the time, they don't have a ton of money. They don't have infinite time. They're all adults.
Yeah.
So the number of, do they really want to spend a weekend at a convention unless that's, unless they're staff. Some of them are staffers or people who run conventions, and those people are going still.
True.
But if, the ones who would just be attendees and aren't enforcers or anything, it's like, why would they? I don't blame them. They're doing what I would do if I was them.
But what I did notice that was interesting is that the main reason they all stopped going to PAX East was just that it was too hard to get a hotel. It was too much of a pain to go to it. The money wasn't even a factor. It was the pain in the ass that it was.
I mean, if anyone I know is not going to PAX East simply because you're having trouble getting the hotel and the badge, and you just don't want to deal with the hassle, but you're perfectly willing to spend the money and do the travel and stuff like that, just let me know and I'll make it happen for you, and I'll take the hassle away so you can come.
Actually,
I want you to be there.
Because actually, we are working on a strategy to make our PAX East experience be more like our MagFest experience.
We have a bunch of people who go to PAX West every year, and we managed to buy a bunch of badges and get through the queue and get rooms somehow, and it works. So we can do the same thing for East to make sure you go if that's the thing you want to do. Because
we cannot do that.
If the only thing stopping you is the hassle and stuff, and you don't care about the money or the time, and you want to go, then just let us know.
Yeah, but I worry that MagFest will suffer the same fate if it starts to sell out in earnest. I feel like MagFest is going to start to be a real pain in the ass to go to in the coming years.
Yeah,
for normal people, like. If you have a hookup, all cons are easy to go to, is the problem.
You got the hookups.
Yeah, you need that hookup these days. But look,
so one time we were on vacation. We were in some, rando tiny hotel, like a Holiday Inn, whatever kind of place that you stop on the highway. Right?
Yep.
And maybe it was New Hampshire, I think we were in a hotel. And, there's like there's those magazines they have only in hotel rooms that tell you about the local shit.
Yeah, there's there's like all those little, or there's the little pamphlets by the entrance to the motel.
Right, so there was one of those magazines in the hotel room. There's all kinds of advertisements for local stuff. And one of them was for an RV lot where you could park your RV. And it was like, we got hookups, and I was like, I guess I sort of knew that what they meant by we got hookups for your electricity and your toilet and your water and stuff, right? But I was like, oh man, we got to go there and get hooked up.
Oh man, I'm looking at these old GeekNights episodes. We're like really fucking pumped for Katsucon. We like keep talking about it.
Katsucon was hype then.
Yeah, well, Katsucon actually back then. Nowadays,
Katsucon still exists. It's still like Cosplay City there.
It's basically a different con, though.
Yeah.
Like, it's called Katsucon, but it had a complete refresh of the staff.
It's in a different place with different staff with different stuff.
Like, it's a different con because the old Katsucon was more like MagFest than like an anime con.
Well, it was much less gaming than MagFest.
It had a free-to-play arcade, though, that was pretty fucking legit.
Yeah, just small. It was like
but the con was small.
Not even 10% of MagFest arcade.
Yeah, but it was a drunken 24/7 debaucherous con with a free-to-play arcade.
Yeah.
That sounds like MagFest to me.
It had those things.
Yeah. So, how about 1998? Did you go to cons in 98?
I didn't even understand that a con existed in 1998.
So I didn't know that
when I went in 2000, when the anime club started talking about cons, I didn't really understand what they were talking about.
I didn't know what an anime con was till 2002 when we went to one.
I understood before then, but I didn't I didn't fully grasp what are they talking about going to this thing? And I felt like whatever they were talking about, I didn't understand it, but it was definitely not something that involved me. It was something for someone else.
Yep.
And I ignored it mostly and whatever. It's like 99, I didn't know a con was a thing. The only thing I had been to ever at that point was a Magic the Gathering tournament in a hotel in New Jersey.
I used to actually go to a lot of gaming, I was going to gaming cons in middle school, so I was going to gaming cons and LAN parties in 98.
Mm-hmm.
I went to LAN parties all over the place. Like, I'd bring my computer and play Quake 2 or something, or Quake 1, in the earliest ones. Mm-hmm. Or, we'd wire up our null modems, do, the Doom thing in a hotel. And I went to a lot of, grognard-ass old gaming cons where I'd sign up for a 4-hour D&D session. That was what I did in 98 and in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
I was playing Pokemon in 1998.
I was not playing Pokemon in 1998.
Red and blue. A red. I had red one.
Actually, 98, I was still playing Magic. A little
I
bit.
was not playing Magic in 98.
I was playing Magic.
I actually looked it up recently. I was only playing Magic for like 2 to 3 years in middle school.
So in 1998, I was playing Magic with all the people I knew who played Magic when I originally played Magic, and we kept playing with the same cards.
This is a Tuesday episode. You somehow...
All right. Politics.
No.
What were your 1998 politics?
I didn't give a shit.
Really?
No.
Not at all?
I didn't even know the difference. I mean, you know, there are things that I believed generally, which are a lot of the same things I believe now, but I didn't even know which was left and which was right, or the difference between Democrat and Republican in 1998. I basically was like, yeah, all politicians are fucking bullshit. They're all corrupt assholes.
The fuck was wrong with your school?
I don't know.
Like, in 1998, I was taking, like, poli-sci classes in high school. Like, serious ones. I was reading a lot of, like, Marx and Marxist literature and being mad about it because
I mean, I knew what communism was, but it's like, and what capitalism was, but, like, you know.
Actually,
I didn't care too much.
In 1998, that was, what, 10th grade? I want to say 10th or 11th grade? I had a teacher. I won't say his name in case he's still a teacher.
Looking back now, I see the difference between the literature teacher who had us read Vonnegut and the social studies teacher who had a picture of Strom Thurmond on the wall.
Ooh.
Right?
Ooh.
Nowadays, looking back, I see the difference. But in the day, it was just like, oh, this teacher really likes that, you know, congressperson who's the longest person who's been in Congress a long time.
So it was either 1997 or 1998. When I was in 10th grade, I had a teacher for social studies who took me and 2 other kids aside from the class one day, like early in the year. And he was like, listen, you 3 are the smart ones, so I think you're ready for this. And he gave us all a copy of the Communist Manifesto and a copy of the play Marx and Soho and said, I want you to read these and let's talk about them in a few weeks. And that was a real interesting experience in 1998. So yeah, I guess you didn't think about politics in the 90s?
No, I was playing games.
I was kind of really invested in politics, but I didn't know a lot about, like, party strategy or
at that time I believed we should eliminate political parties, which I still sort of believe.
I was very caught up in libertarian ideas, but I got to put a big asterisk there because
I did not learn about that until college.
Because the way libertarianism was sold to me in the early to mid 90s was you shouldn't regulate things unless you have a good reason to, and people should be free to do what they want unless they hurt people. And I was like, yeah, I'm all for that. But that is not what the Libertarian Party is all about. They're basically just Republicans.
Yes.
At
least now they are.
So how about 2008 politics, Scott? By then, you already had the opportunity to vote in multiple elections.
I mean...
Did you vote?
Yes.
Did you vote?
I voted every time I've been allowed to vote.
Did you vote for Al Gore?
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
That was in the year 2000. That was not in the year 2008.
All right, so 2008, I guess you were active. You cared about politics? Was there any issue you particularly cared about in 2008?
Copyright.
Yeah, that is something that has definitely changed for us. In 98, I was more mad about copyright than I was about fucking anything.
Yes.
And also, I was really mad about Richard Stallman style stuff. Like, 1998 RIM was so fucking mad about open source software and about freedom of the internet and free speech on the internet and copyright on the internet and remixing and DRM and CBDTPA type stuff. 2008 RIM was still almost equally mad about all that stuff. And now 2018 RIM just doesn't give a fuck because that is like...
I think we were also, at that point, I was also mad about, I started to care about some New York State level stuff because we were voting to give more money to the MTA on the referendum and we lost.
Yeah, I remember that.
Even though I voted yes. And if we had voted yes then, maybe we wouldn't be yelling about the subway being shit eaten now.
Yep. The problem is upstate gets to vote in that.
Well, we were upstate and voting on it.
You know what? That was an awakening I had because 2008 was when I was aging toward moving into the city. Like
I don't know if it was exactly 2008 that vote,
but that era.
It was around then.
Plus or minus 2 years either direction. That was right before we moved to the city.
It must have been early. It was either earlier or it was 2008 at the latest.
But I guess that was an era when I was using Metro North, and that was when I had an awakening in state level politics in the sense that I recognized the problems that upstate New York was causing for New York City, and I started to be real mad about it as I started to learn how New York State was structured, because up to that point, I still knew more about Michigan politics than I did about New York politics, because by the 2008 era, I mostly cared about federal politics. That was the era when I started to actually care about the details of state and county legislation in the place I lived.
Well, it's sort of like they'd never really taught me in school or anything before. I was like, oh, I have to vote for state legislators. That's who this person is. Oh, I get it. There's another Congress.
Yep.
I didn't fully grasp that until I had to vote for it.
But 2018...
And I didn't vote for it when I was, when I technically was getting like absentee Connecticut ballots. I wasn't voting for that shit. Right? It wasn't until, went to New York that I was voting for that.
But I guess the difference is I cared a lot about all these technology issues in like 2008. And frankly, in 2018, like while I still care about all those things, there are way more important things to deal with right now. Like I cared a lot about open source stuff because Nazis were not an imminent threat. And now that Nazis are an imminent threat, that is the thing I mostly care about politically.
I mean, Maslow's hierarchy.
Yeah, Nazis are there, so I have to go climb back down the pyramid and start fighting with them again. So how about like TV and movies and stuff? Because 98, like the late 90s, I watched TV. I didn't watch TV after that. 1998 is actually the end of the era.
In 1998, I was mostly watching DVDs from Netflix.
Yep.
And I was downloading illegal
I was pirating
animes, fan subs still, because there wasn't really streaming.
You were not downloading fan subs in 1998.
Oh, no, not 98. Oh,
yeah, let's go all the way back first.
Oh, I did watch TV in 98.
I watched The Simpsons on TV in 1998.
In 1998, that my TV watching consisted of Simpsons and Seinfeld, which are on before/after dinner.
Yep, I watched those.
Was Toonami still on, I think? Maybe
yeah.
BTAS reruns.
You know what I was watching a lot of in 1998? Fan subs. I was watching it on VHS.
New York Rangers hockey on MSG Network.
Yep. I was watching a lot of Red Wings, but I just watched that on broadcast TV.
Footballs.
Yep. I was watching footballs.
I guess an anime on VHS that was not a fan. I didn't know what a fan sub was in 98. Legitimate animes.
98,
like
I was already deep in the fan subs. In fact,
on Sci-Fi Channel.
Like just recently, I saw someone tweeted a picture.
Whatever was on Cartoon Network at the time, like Powerpuff Girls, Cow and Chickens.
But like I would turn on the TV and watch The Simpsons, like I'd watch TV shows.
Yes, I did that.
But that was the end of that era because as soon as I got to college, I never fucking watched TV again, except we watched Lupin.
Very rarely.
We watched Lupin at midnight for a little while.
I think we watched like Simpsons 2 times.
Yeah, but then that was when The Simpsons got bad.
Yeah.
And nowadays, actually...
I thought you were talking about 2008. That's why I started talking
about
2008.
2008.
That's why I was talking about Netflix DVDs.
2008, I was only watching 2 things. Netflix DVDs and anime fan subs.
I was also occasionally streaming some sports, but it was very hard to watch sports in 2008.
Yeah, 2000, it was weird. 98.
Got some Formula 1 races in
98,
there.
I really watched and cared about hockey a lot. 2008, I wasn't paying that much attention because it was hard to watch. 2018, I'm really watching hockey a lot.
The sports I was watching most actually were football because it was easy to watch. Formula 1 because people had a good way of BitTorrenting it.
Yep.
And actually baseball because the Mets were less bad. That's around the time where the Mets made the playoffs and I bought playoff tickets, and then in the final game of the season they missed the playoffs. And then I had to get a refund on the tickets.
But I guess I just went through this interesting transformation where...
I forget if that was 07 or 08 that happened.
I didn't really watch a lot of serial quote-unquote television in that middle era around 2008. But now with Netflix, I'm actually watching a lot of shows again. Like a lot of shows. Between Netflix and Hulu and Crunchyroll and all these things. I rotate through. And I think the main reason I'm watching a lot of stuff is that I don't have to go through the hassle of pirating it. And I can watch it legally without ads. All right, I think we killed enough time.
Okay, good. I go home.
Boop. No, I didn't. We didn't get to that stuff.
Supposed to talk about you?
You weren't there, and then you were.